Good morning, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Film Talks. On today's episode, we'll be reviewing and analysing certain scenes, camera angles, lighting, and the characteristics of these characters from Shawshank Redemption. On today's episode, I'm pleased to be joined by Frank Darabont. Frank is an American screenwriter, director, and producer who adapted Stephen King's novella. He has been nominated for 3 Academy Awards and a Golden Globe Award. He is also the author and director of Shawshank Redemption. Without further ado, I welcome you, the one and only Frank Darabont.
Thank you for having me, Chris.
Let's get straight into it. So, we obviously know how important Andy's role was in the film, and I'd love for you to tell us how you have developed the character of Andy from the opening scene.
The opening scene initiates the kind of person Andy is. I try to showcase him as someone who seems lost, yet underneath that isolated, individuality-orientated character, we are able to have a real understanding of the kind of person he is.
I couldn't agree more.
The scene where Andy is alone in his car whilst drinking and holding an armed weapon sort of gives the viewers uncertainty around whether or not he is guilty. We are yet to know whether he is guilty or not, and this adds a layer of uncertainty. This introduced the film's major theme of doubt, injustice, and the moral of Shawshank of reality opposed to perception.
Honey, child, more than words can say. If I didn't care,
Dialogue plays such a vital role in shaping Andy's character. During the trial, Andy is seen to be calm, controlled, although he holds the accusations against him. The tone of Andy's voice can be interpreted in 2 different ways. You can view Andy as someone who is controlled by their emotions, an innocent man, or as someone who had committed a cold-hearted murder, someone who's hiding guilt.
You strike me as a particularly icy and remorseless man, Mr. Dufresne. It chills my blood just to look at you. By the power vested in me by the state of Maine, I hereby order you to serve 2 life sentences back to back. 1 for each of your victims. So be it.
100%. How does that relate to the film's ideas regarding the injustice?
Chris, the 2-sided Andy we see at the beginning of the film gives us a sense of misunderstanding and injustice. Later in Shawshank Prison, his intelligence and the way he converts with other inmates is a drastic difference and sets him apart from the rest. Andy's line about hope being a good thing simply highlights the overall theme of hope opposed to the establishment, and this shows that underneath his quiet, reserved guy resilience is central with the inner strength that Andy has.
We definitely see how Andy's characteristics evolve over time. Another question, why did you choose to retain red narration when you adapted the novella for your screen? And why do you think it worked so well?
So, being able to retain Red's narration works so well, as it's not only strength the film's layout, yet shape the interpretation of the viewers, and again targets essential themes. Red's narration provides a reflectional tone. The tone is easily able to follow along throughout key events. The voice also is often coinciding with montages. For instance, when we hear the narration of Red whilst the film showcases the library getting built.
The rest of us did our best to pitch in when and where we could. By the year Kennedy was shot, Andy had transformed a storage room smelling of rat turds and turpentine into the best prison library in New England, complete with a fine selection of Hank Williams.
It truly makes the film continue to flow.
The perception of Red is opinionated, as you can see that Red's initial opinion about Andy was someone who was weak and didn't believe that he would last a night in the jail. In the words of Red,
I must admit I didn't think much of Andy first time I laid eyes on him. Looked like a stiff breeze would blow him over. That was my first impression of the man.
What do you say?
Red's initial thoughts about Andy made the viewers question who he really was. Also, the key themes, such as Red says, hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. The line is regarding the environment of the prison and the emotional aspect of the prison life.
Red's voice was calm throughout the narration of the film. How do you believe this has shaped the film?
I mean, the calm voiceover is greatly contrast with the film and life within the prison. This adds reflection to certain scenes when that could potentially be interpreted as harsh and violent. My goal with the narration was about turning the film from a prison average film yet into a record about hope, connection, friendship, and most importantly, redemption.
Frank, how have you conveyed the key messages about the importance of hope within the film?
Important of hope in the film is key, which was done with the colouring, sound and the shadows that all play a vital role in doing so. I used dark grey lighting and shadows to reflect loneliness and taken. Moments where they were seen as happiness and belief, I wanted to use natural lighting, bright colours to shape the opinion of the viewers subconsciously. For instance, the rooftop beers was a great example of the natural light being used to showcase freedom.
In a row at 10 o'clock in the morning, drinking icy cold Bohemia-style beer, courtesy of the hardest screw that ever walked a turn at Shawshank State Prison.
Drink up while it's cold, ladies.
The colossal prick even managed to sound magnanimous. We sat and drank with the sun on
How
our
about
show.
sound? How did that shape the importance of hope?
In a jail, sound is limited, so I had to make the most of what we were given. When Andy played Mozart over the yard speakers, the music rose higher than the concrete prison walls. That showcased that hope is not confined and that is accessible to life even within the prison. Lastly, the open beach scene with the bright showcasing hope was shown with the help of light and colour. Thank you so much for having me, Chris.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for coming to an episode of Film Talks. See you next time. Film Talk out.
Feeling my way through the darkness, guided by a beating heart. I can't tell where the journey will end, but I know where to start. They tell me I'm too young to understand. They say I'm caught up in a dream. Well, life will pass me by if I don't open up my eyes. So that's fine by me.